Hey, I'm Mike from Design Shop React. We specialize in print and design, specifically in making cool race cars look cool, as well as other things like small decals and pretty much anything print related and design related. We've done work for Jimmy Oaks, Grant, do lots of stuff for some local people, you guys now. There's a few other names that we're working with right now for some other projects that I can't really get into, but there's lots of good names, lots of big names. All of it's in-house. For this instance, we're not technically in-house for an install, but we do things like come out to shops and install like we would here. Ideally, we try and do it in the best environment. This works too, so. Yeah, so I mean, you guys reached out. We have worked a little bit in the past for a couple things. Nothing of this caliber, but you guys reached out and you wanted to do something for a series that Josiah is going to be driving in, and he wanted something that stood out with the other cars that are in this series. And we came up with a concept that is more on my style with what he was looking for. This isn't definitely for everybody. Not everybody's gonna like what this looks like, but it is sort of what I produce in the sense of my design and whatnot. And I think we executed it well. It's definitely gonna look cool drifting. It's definitely gonna be different from what you guys are used to. You haven't had this before, so it's gonna be something to get used to essentially. But I think he likes it based on his expressions earlier, so.
Oh, this is sick. Basically, the details within the design, there's a lot more than just like the top layer. You've got this different shading of gray splashed in there, the tribal style and the flare and the speed and the fast, and it looks like it's moving already, but it's just sitting here. It's just all nice. It's all good.
So first we started with the front bumper. Being a full carbon Kevlar car, it looks cool already, but it's actually really difficult to wrap because the edges of all the carbon is just like with fiberglass, like it's very fibery essentially. So it's really hard to wrap on the edges. So while it's not the most perfect wrap, there are, some edges that are not the greatest because of that. But it's a race car, it's to be expected. It's not a 1 foot kind of look. It's a 10 footer as we call it. If I were to do a color change on a daily driver car that's got amazing paint, like it's a whole different story. This, with the expectation was set, we know what to get out of it, and in a week we're gonna have to replace a panel anyways. So like it makes that sort of why we do things in those ways. We started with the front bumper because it was just carbon. It's the hardest piece to wrap. There isn't too much design on the front bumper. We kept it that way for obvious reasons of crashing or having to repair something and make it easy. Wrapping that takes the longest time. I mean, Jack, you helped me with the side a little bit, and we sort of quickly got through that versus the front bumper. So that was the tough portion of it. And then we moved on to the side, which we did this side. Yeah, we wrapped this side first. Typically, I would do all these individual, like green, white, silvers separately because I like doing in layers. It's just one of the aspects I like when printing and designing. You can see that layering. In this certain situation, we did it as a full wrap. So the whole entire car is one whole piece, sectioned by the doors and whatnot. And some of the aspects of the carbon we tried to actually show. So where we would wrap normally, full color, where we're actually cutting out some of the edges because the carbon, I kept in mind in the design with the yellow and stuff like that to show, because it's carbon Kevlar, it's cool. It's not normal on most cars, so it's cool to show it. And then the trunk, we went back and forth a few different times on different ideas, but we added in a bit of a stripe to wrapping it black So you'll have the black with also showing some carbon Kevlar on it, which we think is a good addition. Did all the logos, which sometimes work out the best. Sometimes, you know, we changed it a little bit based on the render. We're adding a couple logos. I forgot to print one that we won't mention, and that'll be included later. That's the simplicity of it. Like, they are very hard jobs to do. It's a very large job to do. We did it over 2 days. The installation anyways. The design and us going back and forth took a little bit of time. As long as you have sort of the motivation to do it, you can get through it. I did it in 2 days, and here it is. I had fun doing it. I had fun designing it. I'm glad to be part of, you know, I'm right here. So I'm glad to be part of the big names that are on it, part of the program. So I'm glad to help out and be able to help out where we can. And I don't think this is the end of our relationship, so.